Okay, folks, example number 3. All right, whoa, look at this. Okay, well, let's see what we've got here. 2x squared plus x minus 3 on top there, and 2 minus x squared on the bottom. All right, well, I'm not a big fan of this one, but, so there it is. Let's see, we need to factor the top. All right, now the first thing when I look at 2x squared plus x minus 3, I see that there's nothing that I can take out. I count the terms and there are 3 of them, so that means that I'm going to get 2 factors like this if it's factorable. Okay, it's not the difference of 2 squares because I've got 3 terms. And I've got something in front of the x squared here. So I'm going to do the quadratic formula and back it up to find out what my factors are, because that works every time. It may take a little longer, but you know what? I'm happy to take a little longer if I can get the right answer every time. Okay? So, let me rewrite that again. It's 2x squared plus x minus 3. Okay, a is 2, b is 1, c is negative 3. Minus b, plus or minus the square root of b squared, minus 4ac, all over 2a. Minus parentheses, plus or minus square root, parentheses squared, minus 4 parentheses, parentheses, all over 2 parentheses. Let me plug in my values now. A is 2, b is 1. What? I'm not thinking. B is 1, a is 2, c is negative 3. Okay? Let's simplify. Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 8 times 3 is 24, teachers, over 4. Beautiful. Okay? Now I'm going to get negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 25 over 4. And then when I take the square root, I split it. Negative 1 plus 5 over 4. Negative 1 minus 5 over 4. Okay? That's going to give me 4 over 4, which is 1. This one's going to give me negative 6 over 4, and that reduces to negative 3 over 2. Okay, so what are my factors? Well, if x equals 1, I subtract 1 from both sides, and I get x minus 1 equals 0. That's one of my factors. Okay, now I can go back up here, and right over here I can say x minus 1. Now I can go back down and use the other answer to find the other factor, or I can just say x times what gives me 2x squared? Well, times 2x. And minus 1 times what gives me negative 3 plus 3. Okay, that's the other factor. All right. Now, we spent some time trying to factor that one. We're going to have to spend some time looking at this one. The very first thing that I need to do is I need to get this thing in standard form. Now, I'm going to erase the work that we did to find that factor, and I'm going to take this denominator and I'm going to rewrite it as negative x squared minus x plus 2. Now it's in standard form, but there's one thing I don't like about it, and you guys are going to remember the thing I don't like about it is this negative out front. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a negative 1. Negative 1 times x squared plus x minus 2. Okay? So I factored out a negative to make the x squared positive, and then I'm going to factor that. And fortunately, because there's nothing in front of the x squared, I just know this is going to be x, and that's x. And I need to take minus 2, and the pair I get gives me positive 1. So I can do negative 1, positive 2, and 1, negative 2. That would multiply to give me negative 2. But when I add them, this one gives me positive 1, and this one gives me negative 1. So I want this one, x minus 1, x plus 2. And doesn't that make sense, guys? Teachers. Negative 1 times x minus 1, and there's 1 on top that's going to cancel out. Isn't that nice? And then x plus 2 on the bottom. Now, I don't want to rush this, guys, and we're running out of time on this one. Remember, before I cancel, I've got to give my restrictions. And we'll start that on the next video. All right?